Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt a shift in the atmosphere before you even said a word? Suddenly, people grow tense. Their smiles turn stiff. Conversations fade, yet no one tells you why. The truth is, when your energy is powerful, it doesn't just affect others, it unsettles them. And not because you're doing anything wrong. Your presence without effort or intention exposes what others are desperately trying to hide from themselves. This isn't new. Carl Jung called it the shadow, those hidden parts of ourselves we suppress so deeply we pretend they don't even exist. But your energy stirs those shadows awake in others. That's why they act oddly defensive, distant, passive-aggressive. It's not you they fear. It's what you trigger within them. So hear this clearly. They're not truly reacting to you. They're reacting to what your presence reveals. If you've ever been told you're too much, too intense, or made to feel guilty just for existing, it's not your fault. But here's the danger. If you don't learn to understand, protect, and manage your powerful energy, you'll keep shrinking yourself to make others feel safe. You'll lose pieces of your life quietly without realizing it. That's why this message matters. Not only will I explain why this happens, I'll show you how to build invisible, energetic boundaries. Protect your inner power and stop absorbing other people's emotional chaos. By the end of this video, you'll understand why people become uneasy around you, and more importantly, you'll stop minimizing yourself just to make them comfortable. But before we go further, we need to clarify one thing. What do we really mean by energy? Because if we don't define it now, everything I say will be dismissed as mystical nonsense. And it's not. This is not about crystals, incense, or chanting under the moon. This is about psychology and physics. This is real. When I say energy, I'm talking about your personal frequency. Carl Jung called it psychic energy, your thoughts, your emotions, your unconscious drives. They all form a field around you, and it doesn't stay inside, it radiates, it expands, it interacts with the world around you. Jung believed that every person has a psychic field that constantly communicates with others. It's not just the words we speak, it's the invisible language of presence. You are confronting their unconscious mind, their repressed fears, and their childhood traumas. Everything. Because of this, some people are magnetic right away, while others just don't feel right. Let's go on to contemporary science. What is said by quantum physics? Everything is energy, it says. Energy is matter. Energy is what thoughts are. Feelings and vitality as well. Your body is actually made up of moving, vibrating atoms. Additionally, your internal state has an impact on those around you, much like a tuning fork might alter the frequency of another adjacent fork, without uttering a word. I'll make it really easy. Have you ever entered a room where two individuals had just gotten into a fight? They are no longer shouting, however you sense it. Like airborne static. That isn't creative. Energy residue is what that is. That stress is sensed by your neurological system without anyone having to explain it. And the opposite. Have you ever encountered someone who immediately put you at ease, as if you simply exhaled your entire body? That's energy too. Your frequency is aligned with theirs. They are mirrored in your body, literally. Go to neuroscience and look up mirror neurons. They are empathy's biological foundation. They also demonstrate that you can sense someone without speaking. Therefore, I'm not being lyrical when I remark that your energy disturbs people. I'm trying to inform you that other people can sense your frequency, your unresolved trauma, your inner confidence, and your self-awareness, knowingly or unknowingly. According to a quote from Jung, your life will be guided by your unconscious until you bring it into awareness. You'll refer to it as fate. Flip that now. You walk in fully present when someone else hasn't faced their unconscious. Your vitality turns into a mirror, and what they see bothers them. Therefore, no, it's not your imagination. You don't have too much. You're just paying attention. It's uncommon enough to frighten those who are still asleep. Let's begin with one of the most subdued yet potent indicators that your vibe agitates others. Around you, people get anxious. You haven't done a damn thing, they say. You didn't speak louder. Nothing you said was contentious. You didn't say much at all. Their body language abruptly changes, though. They avoid making eye contact. They start to laugh phonily. They fidget with their hands. What did I do? You're sitting there wondering. Here's the reality. You took no action. Your vitality did. Let me explain it to you. Those who haven't resolved their own internal turmoil, people who are hidden behind a mask, insecure and emotionally distant. They spend their entire day in psychological armor. Avoidance, denial, and acting as though nothing is wrong are the foundations of armor. Then you enter with a clear present and unapologetic awareness. Your presence carries clarity even if you aren't aware of it. And for those who live in deception, clarity is unsettling. This is what Carl Jung referred to as projection. When someone's unconscious burden becomes too much to bear, they dump it on the closest person who evokes an emotion they are unable to articulate. All of a sudden, people feel uneasy in your presence. Their shadow is being drawn to the surface by your sheer presence, not because you're being cruel or doing anything wrong. And they have a panic attack. They have no idea what to call it. What do they do then? They get uncomfortable. They either grow silent as if they've just seen a ghost, laugh too hard at your jokes, or over-explain themselves. You're sitting there wondering if I'm being overly dramatic. You are simply holding a frequency that they are unfamiliar with. I'll offer you a straightforward metaphor. Envision a person sitting in a pitch-black room. What takes place? They narrow their eyes. They wince. They may even shout, "Switch it off." They've become accustomed to the darkness, not because light is terrible. You are that. The light is you. And they're responding to the sensation of unexpected truth. This is even supported by neurology. Your neurological system is programmed to detect tone changes, posture changes, nonverbal clues, and microsignals. The nervous system of someone close to you emanates coherence when they are completely grounded and genuine. For those who aren't accustomed to it, their own system begins to malfunction. Their heart rate literally increases. Their levels of cortisol rise. Their brain doesn't know how to match your frequency, so their mirror neurons begin to misfire. You're not too much then. It's not strange because of you. It's a mirror that you're holding up. That's the problem with mirrors. Some people rise when they recognize themselves. Others flee after seeing themselves. However, allow them. That response is entirely related to what they have been avoiding in themselves and has nothing to do with your value. However, if you're unaware of what's going on, let's now discuss a sign that truly confuses folks, including you. Unexpectedly, strangers will challenge you or strike you with passive-aggressive energy. You enter a store, you're calm and courteous. You merely pose a query, and you get that tone from the cashier. You know the person who has a problem, but has a dry, dismissive attitude. That's just enough to let you know. Furthermore, it has nothing to do with the cost of milk or your job. In a meeting, you boldly and clearly propose your idea, and someone tries to outdo you right away. Not because there was a problem with your notion. However, their ego couldn't handle it since they sensed your presence. This is what's actually happening. Your energy conveys clarity, strength, inner stability, and self-possession. And that makes some people feel insignificant. It's because they already hold insecurity they haven't dealt with, not because you caused them to feel that way. What do? Then they launch an assault. Not right away. That would be too clear. They become passive-aggressive. Crude remarks, sarcastic remarks, undermining the tone you're using, doubting your intentions. It's not a dialogue. It's a game of power. Why? Because people sense an imbalance when you enter their life with nothing to prove, and their identity is based on control, approval, or image. They feel vulnerable. Their ego enters a defensive state. When someone views someone else as superior in a way that contradicts their perception of themselves, this is known psychologically as ego threat. According to a University of Michigan study conducted in 2004, those who have lower self-esteem are much more prone to act aggressively when they are questioned, particularly by someone who isn't even aware that they're setting them off. You're not dreaming then. That strange tension from the waiter, the sarcastic remark from the coworker, or the random guy in the gym wanting to show off. It's not arbitrary, it's self-defense. Because someone who is still performing secretly feels threatened by your grounded energy. I'll explain with a metaphor. Consider two individuals facing a mirror. Years have been spent enhancing oneself on the outside, repute following titles and appearances. But within, I'm not sure yet. I'm still seeking confirmation. You, the other person, arrive with serene assurance and presence. You own who you are, Therefore, you don't seek acceptance. Now place the two individuals in front of the mirror. Who will feel vulnerable in your opinion? They come for you for that reason. Not because you are conceited, but because your presence calls into question their sense of dominance. Additionally, when someone lacks genuine self-worth, they will want to drag you down to a level where they feel secure once more. Here's the trick though. Avoid biting. Avoid becoming engrossed in the game, because they desire that, to cause a response in order to balance the energy. Keep your center. Maintain a pure energy. They don't extend an invitation. It's a test. And the strongest reaction, absolutely no answer. Power games are not why you came. You learn to live truthfully. Allow their ego to battle itself. You continue to rise. 3 signs? There are 2 types of people: repulsed and magnetized. There isn't any middle ground. Allow me to share a feeling that you have likely experienced throughout your life but may not have been able to articulate. People either can't bear being around you or they are incredibly attracted to you. No intermediate ground exists. Within 5 minutes, they either open up to you as if you were their long-lost soulmate, or they ghost you, shun you, or criticize you. Quick, does that sound familiar? This is the reason. Your energy doesn't only exist as background noise. Alignment is required. People are aware of it, profoundly, even if they are unable to express it. The worst part is still to come. People are unconsciously forced to make decisions by your energy. They seem to have an internal switch that is flipped by your presence. Do I want to confront myself now? They lean in if the response is affirmative. Quick, they become more accessible. Have faith in you. You make me feel secure, not because you're being too showy or kind, but because the portion of them that has been deprived of truth feels at home on your frequency. However, they leave if the response is negative. They become silent, judgmental, or aloof. Because they feel seen by something about you, they are frightened by that. This is the underlying psychological mechanism. Resonance on an emotional level. Our emotional frequencies naturally align with those of those around us. Once more, these are mirror neurons. However, if you are fully present and aligned with someone who is living a lie or has unresolved trauma, their system cannot align with yours. A conflict has arisen. You are not hated by them. They detest the way they feel in your presence, because the discord they're attempting to conceal is highlighted by your enthusiasm. Consider it analogous to tuning forks. 2 forks begin to vibrate in unison when they are in the same key. It's a link. However, it begins to vibrate erratically or not at all if one fork is out of tune. Energy-based repulsion is that. It isn't intimate, it's resonance. Therefore, have faith when people are drawn to you as if they have known you for ages. They are expressing their truth in response to your vibration. Don't internalize it either when someone rejects you, withdraws, or behaves strangely without reason. You're not being rejected by them. The aspect of themselves that your energy is attempting to awaken is being rejected. I'll give you an example from the actual world. You run into someone at a party. You don't speak much. However, they are sharing their entire life narrative with you in a matter of minutes. Insecurities, childhood traumas, and dreams they have never spoken out. It's not because your questions were appropriate. It's because it feels comfortable having you around. Dropping the mask is safe. Compare that to someone who avoids small talk, gives you side-eye, or abruptly ends texting after a lengthy discussion. This is too much clarity for me at this moment, according to the nervous system. And the bottom line is as follows: not everyone is supposed to be able to digest you. Making others feel at ease is not your purpose. To be honest, you're here, and people are intentionally polarized by that kind of energy. Therefore, give up attempting to be likable. Be true to yourself. Those who are prepared will approach. The others, give them a chance to walk. That isn't a rejection. Alignment is that. Sign number 4. You attract energy vampires and empaths. Here's another indication that your energy is strong. It's also among the most difficult to traverse. You draw 2 types of people to you all the time. Either the intuitive, extremely sensitive empaths who feel secure in your presence, or the people that drain you of your emotions without you even realizing it. Does that sound familiar? You may wonder why I always get people to open up to me, or why, even if we didn't discuss anything serious, I always feel worn out after hanging out with these people. Let me explain. Your energy becomes like a battery when it is clear, grounded, and powerful. And you know what? Things that require power are drawn to batteries. The initial kind, the real empaths, are not the issue. They are attracted to your stillness and clarity. Their neurological system takes a respite from your frequency. They don't have to perform, therefore it's nice to be with you. They may simply be. However, what about the second kind? That's where things become risky. These individuals lack the ability to control their own emotions. People who want the relief that your energy provides, but haven't done the inner work. They mistake your presence for tranquility, and they cling to you when they discover you. Quick. They want to feed off your energy not because they respect it. Spiritual dramatics is not what this is. It's the mechanics of psychology. It is referred to as emotional co-regulation in psychotherapy. In order to control their inner turmoil, people with dysregulated emotional systems, particularly those with anxious or disordered attachment styles, often cling to others who make them feel emotionally secure. What then occurs? They let out their frustrations, trauma dump, share too much. They rely on you as if you were their rescuer, therapist, or healer, without even asking if you chose to play that part. And you absorb it if you're not aware of it. It's with you. You leave feeling exhausted, drained, and heavy, as if you've just completed a mental marathon. I'll explain with a metaphor. A clean lake is your vitality. People who are sympathetic come to sit beside it, enjoy its tranquility, and sometimes even leave a flower. Are they energy vampires? They arrive carrying buckets, fill them with their poisonous waste, take your water, then go without saying thank you. This is the harsh reality. You're not a place to dump people. You're not a rehabilitation facility for those who can't accept responsibility. Holding space is honorable, yes. However, allowing people to drain your life force because they are too scared to confront their own demons is self-betrayal. And pay particular attention if you've been raised to be the emotionally mature one, the healer, or the strong one in every relationship. It's precisely that conditioning that leaves you open to this dynamic. Because love isn't the only thing drawn to your brightness, it draws in need. Meeting every need isn't your job. Determining who should have access to your field is your responsibility. Therefore, don't blame yourself the next time someone suddenly dumps on you or you leave a casual conversation feeling completely devastated. Acknowledge it, label it, and decide to take a step back. Being able to elevate others is not the only aspect of power. Knowing when to say, "This isn't mine to carry," is what true power is all about. I want to talk about something that most people overlook before we move on to the next indication, though. It will hit strongly, though, if you've ever noticed it. You don't merely draw folks to you when your energy is pure. You draw children, animals, and even the natural world. A dog stops dragging its leash as you pass it. It merely gazes at you. When you go to someone's house, their cat, who is supposed to despise strangers, immediately jumps into your lap as if you've known each other for ages. You took no action. You made no attempt. However, your energy told you that this area is secure. This is a serene presence. Here you can unwind. That's the problem. Children and animals are honest. Your credentials, rank, or appearance are irrelevant to them. They experience vibration. They sense reality. They sense security. What about plants? If you have the correct energy, plants will physically flourish in your house. They react to presence, tone, and frequency. Your house is a jungle even if you're not a green thumb. That isn't arbitrary. Resonance is that. In fact, polygraph expert Cleve Baxter conducted a well-known experiment in which he linked plants to lie detectors and discovered that they reacted to human emotions, including fear, delight, and even intent. The point remains the same regardless of your belief in every element of that study. Life is aware of life. Additionally, life leans in your favor when your energy is clear and you're not expressing stress, anger, or loudness. So if you've ever wondered why babies and animals adore me, here's your answer. Or why is it that being in nature makes me feel calmer than being with people? The reason for this is that truth is recognized by nature, instinct, and innocence. And when your energy field is balanced, you radiate truth. Let's delve further now, because some beings and people are attracted to your vibe, while others are outright repulsed. It becomes even more intriguing at that point. Sign number 5. Inauthenticity cannot tolerate you, and you cannot tolerate it. I'll give it to you now. You're not being picky if you've ever experienced bodily discomfort in artificial settings, if small talk feels torturous, or if you can tell when someone is being courteous but not genuine. Your energy is intolerant of nonsense because of that. This is where the twist lies. It is reciprocal. In addition to feeling inauthentic individuals perceive you as a serious threat. You don't even need to speak. The masks fall off their faces just by your presence. Why? Because you carry a type of vibrational truth that pierces the atmosphere like a blade. When your energy is in balance, you've done the inner work, you've faced your shadow, and you live with integrity. They perceive that people are hiding behind masks. They become uneasy, protective, and occasionally even angry as a result. This is related to Jung's theory of persona versus shadow in psychology. The persona is the facade we put on for the sake of society. Everything we attempt to conceal is the shadow, and you cause that phony persona to fall apart in other people when you present yourself as genuine, grounded, and unimpressed. They don't like what they see when you bring to light what they've attempted to hide. I'll give you an example from real life. You're having a group discussion. Everyone is pretending to be friendly, laughing and riding the surface. You remain silent, or you omit a single complete sentence. Nothing noteworthy, just the facts. The energy abruptly shifts. Some people stop talking. Some people move uneasily. Some people become irritated. Why? As you didn't participate in the game. The illusion was not nourished by you. Realness is disruptive, and you introduced it into a room that was founded on phony. This is a metaphor. Imagine if everyone is dressed up as someone else at a costume party. You enter without a mask, only you. Some feel relieved, someone being genuine at last. Others, they become alarmed because your genuineness reveals the true nature of their disguise. A cover-up. It goes beyond societal processes. The legislation is energetic. Illusion and truth are incompatible. Furthermore, anything based on performance manipulation or fleeting approbation is inherently repelled by your truth-based energy. People aren't rejecting you if they say you're too intense or if they stop talking to you after a lengthy conversation. The sensation of being noticed is what they are denying. That's how they travel. You can't fix it. You're not hard. Simply put, you're clear. Confusion is always broken by clarity. Therefore, quit shrinking to appease phonies. The issue isn't your sincerity, it's the answer. Even if some masks are burned in the process, the true engine that powers all of this will now be exposed. Why some people get shivers just looking at you, even when you're quiet, gentle, and at ease. The reason is that your energy doesn't simply appear in a room. It awakens the darkness of people. And here's what Jung said, if you don't know what that implies. Everybody has their shadow. Additionally, it is denser and blacker the less it is embodied in the person's conscious life. In simple English, every individual has a dark side, a portion of themselves that they choose to conceal, repress, or ignore. Suppressed feelings of guilt, insecurity, envy, embarrassment, and rage. Everything that doesn't align with the positive persona they present to the public. This is when things get wild. They can't make that shadow go away by acting as though it doesn't exist. It increases the pressure, and someone with a securely closed shadow feels exposed when they see someone like you, someone who has put in the effort and integrated their reality. Your energy awakens the very aspects of themselves that they have been attempting to avoid, not because you are passing judgment on them. At that point, projection takes place. The unconscious mind's protective mechanism is projection. People begin to perceive your darkness instead of confronting their own. You're overly passionate. You believe that you are superior to everyone. You're a threat. All of that is untrue. With you as the screen, it's their own shadow conversing with itself. It's as though you turn into the human equivalent of a mirror they didn't ask to examine. They can't unsee now, though. Allow me to illustrate. Suppose someone has repressed their jealousy. They convince themselves that they are selfless, giving, and encouraging. However, they are secretly jealous and insecure. They're scared to pursue their desires because they want more. Then you enter confident and in control of your space without attempting to prove anything that would set them off. They suddenly despise you. However, they make up justifications since they don't know why. She is not real. He is self-centered. They believe they are superior to everyone else. That number isn't accurate, it's projection. The worst part is still to come. The projection gets more violent the more unconscious the person is. Your energy poses a risk because of what it stands for, not because of what you do. Completeness, incorporation, the truth. Furthermore, delusion is always threatened by truth. This explains why a lot of influential people are misinterpreted. Not because they are incorrect, but rather because they exhibit the very quality that others find frightening in themselves. If you've been wondering why people suddenly turn against you for years, this is the answer. Why you receive rejection one moment and love the next. That's why. Their shadow is triggered by your light, and they will continue to mistake their suffering for your issue until they confront that darkness. Here's the gift though, now that you've noticed the pattern. You no longer take it personally, your shrinkage stops. You no longer reduce your light to avoid making others uncomfortable, because it's not harsh to call forth their shadow. It's the truth, and the only thing loud enough to awaken the unconscious at times is the truth. What occurs though, if you don't safeguard your energy, let's discuss the cost of failing to protect your energy. And I'm not merely referring to fatigue. Emotional burnout is what I mean. Misunderstanding of identity, of spiritual exhaustion, the kind of exhaustion that sleep alone cannot resolve. You become a magnet for other people's chaos if you have a strong, deep, and magnetic energy by nature and don't know how to protect it. And eventually that mayhem begins to resemble your own. This is how it seems. You first begin to question your intuition. Conversations that once felt stimulating will then exhaust you. Or you begin to wake up feeling nervous for no apparent reason. To maintain harmony, you agree to something you believe to be wrong. Furthermore, you are unable to distinguish between yourself and other people. You're not being overly sensitive. When your energetic field is unrestricted and unfiltered, that is what occurs. Consider going around without any skin or protection. Every feeling, every mood, every tension that isn't expressed, it clings to you, and it becomes you if you don't get rid of it. The majority of people are unaware of this. In both directions, energy flows. Not all you're doing is broadcasting. The channel is bidirectional, therefore you absorb it whenever someone throws fear, guilt, humiliation, or contempt into your open space. A signal that is not yours begins to go through your nervous system. Because of this, a lot of strong, perceptive people experience cycles of identity crisis, despair, and burnout. Because they've been acting as emotional sponges for years, believing they're helping, but in reality, they're sacrificing themselves. Let's investigate further. In psychology, emotional contagion is a term, and it sounds just like that. Even if someone never speaks, you may tell their feelings by their tone, posture, and facial expressions. Now, if you're an energetically open person, multiply it by 10. You can sense more than simply someone's mood. You absorb it. Additionally, you start making decisions that aren't even yours if you don't establish limits. You pursue objectives that don't inspire you. You bear guilt that is not your own. Because your soul's signal gets drowned out by the cacophony of everyone else, you lose it. I want to be clear. Being consumed by other people's energy prevents you from achieving your own goals. You must safeguard your strength. Conscious, deliberate boundaries, not barriers, not coldness. Is this yours? You need room to check in. Or did someone else give this to me? And don't worry if it's not my answer. No guilt, no explanation. Because the world will use your energy if you don't preserve it. Additionally, it won't seek for your consent beforehand. Your energy is not a public resource from now on. It is revered. And those who are entitled to it will understand how to respect it. However, how can one establish limits that are energetic without seeming aloof? Let's be clear about this. Setting limits doesn't make you a chilly, aloof, don't talk to me type of person. It indicates that you have finally made the decision to stop bleeding in order to appease those who refuse to bandage you. Additionally, you require boundaries like oxygen if you have a lot of energy and are the person that people turn to for guidance, comfort, or clarity. Boundaries that are energetic as well as emotional, because you're always leaking power when you don't have them. Here's the good news though. You don't have to shout, you don't have to explain, you don't have to elaborate. All you have to do is get clear. Let me explain. An unseen contract that states, here's what I allow into my space and here's what I don't, is known as an energy boundary. And it begins with a single easy change. You begin controlling how you react and cease controlling how other people feel. You're not chilly. Simply put, you are no longer emotionally accessible to everyone. And power is that. Let's now discuss how to accomplish this in a pragmatic manner. First step, before engaging in any interaction, ground yourself. This does not entail 30 minutes of meditation. 10 seconds may pass. Say to yourself, I'm grounded before you enter a room or respond to a message. What enters my field is something I choose. I don't take in things that are not mine. Your neural system is primed to observe rather than absorb as a result. Step 2. Imagine a filter rather than a wall. Connection is blocked by walls. It is protected by filters. Picture yourself surrounded by a thin layer of light similar to mesh. It allows clarity, truth, and love to shine through. It prevents turmoil, deception, and guilt. Step 3. Learn to refuse without providing a reason. You unconsciously apologize for having a limit every time you over-explain it. Don't do that anymore. No, I don't think that works. For that, I won't be available. This isn't the correct conversation for me. For a period, not guilty. Step 4. Be mindful of who you allow emotional access to. The backstage access to your soul is not something that everyone deserves. It is not your responsibility to fix someone just because they are in pain. They haven't earned your energy just because they desire it. Ask yourself this frequently. Does this individual make me feel better or worse? Your life can alter just by asking that question. And this is the change in perspective that completes the picture. Setting boundaries isn't about excluding others. The goal is to maintain your energy level so that only those who are prepared to meet you there can remain. It's not a rejection, it's a choice. Your life is something you curate. The guest list does not include everyone. Allow me to illustrate. You're on the phone. Once more, a friend begins to spew venom. The same tale, the same drama. 100 times over, you've heard it. You used to sit there, take it in, and nod courteously. Right now, you halt them. Be calm, unambiguous. Hey, you are important to me. However, I am unable to hold space for this today. There is a boundary there. Easy, director, affection, and you know what it will be respected by the proper individuals, the incorrect ones. They will attempt to blame you, and you'll learn everything from their response, since your barrier will make their relationship vulnerable to manipulation. The real ones are fair. People fight back. Here is the rule then. You guard your tranquility as if it were your salary, because it really is. This is an energetic detox for the day. Let's be clear about this. To keep your energy clear, you don't have to relocate to a mountain dress entirely in white or burnt sage like it's your religion. Rituals are not the essence of true energy hygiene. Consistency is key. In the same way that your phone has to recharge overnight, you also need to reset yourself every day if you have strong, sensitive energy. In the event that you don't, you are awakened by the programming of others. Allow me to demonstrate the process of clearing your energy field. Quick and easy. First step, inhale as though you were cleaning a system. Prior to using your phone in the morning or following a very intensive conversation, give up. Shut your eyes. For 4 seconds, inhale through your nostrils. Hold for 4. For 6, slowly release the breath via your mouth. Here's the secret now. I mentally repeat, I release anything that isn't mine as you exhale, because you'd be surprised at how much energy you've gained that you never had. Your partners might have been that anxiety. A stranger in line behind you might have been the source of that weight. Whether we like it or not, we are energetic sponges. However, you wring yourself out by breathing. Step 2, make use of the visualization of cut and release. This one is strong. Picture yourself surrounded by cords, human connections, daily talks and feelings. Next, visualize a clear blade, such as a sword of truth, and mentally sever all the cords that aren't helping you. As you do, repeat it to yourself. I call my power back to myself and return this energy to its source. This works even if you don't believe in magic. Your subconscious is powered by imagery. This helps your brain regain concentration and let go of emotional attachments. Step 3, start with a straightforward assertion. Anchor yourself after releasing. Use a phrase like, I am in my body. I am right now. What I carry is something I select. Why? Due to the tendency of high-energy individuals to detach without being aware of it. You become mired in your own thoughts and meshed in the feelings of others or caught up in the future. You are drawn back to your presence and strength by this. Bonus: 2 minutes prior to bedtime, the nighttime reset occurs. Spend 2 minutes doing this before you go to sleep. Breathe when sitting, then say, "I rebuke all negativity," after mentally reviewing your day. The depth of your sleep will be altered just by that. You're not only taking it easy, your field is being cleared. Being flawless isn't the point here. It's important to pay attention, because everything else becomes more apparent when your energy is pure. Your self-respect, your judgment, your boundaries, and your intuition. You're lost, but that doesn't make you hazy. You're cluttered, which makes you hazy. Every day clean, not for show. However, you spend money every second on your energy. If you don't check the bill, you can't afford to give it away. Now, how can one cease taking in the emotional turmoil of others? We need to be brutally honest. Without mastering this one ability, you will feel as though life is occurring to you rather than through you. You'll feel good when you enter a room, and after 10 minutes, you're tired, agitated, or nervous, and you don't know why. This is the reason. You are more than just sympathetic. Your system instantly adjusts to the emotional frequency of the people you're with, since you're energetically permeable. You will carry other people's tension, uncertainty, humiliation, or dread as if it were your own, unless you learn to maintain your sovereignty. This is not a spiritual conversation. It's a branch of neurology. Mirror neurons are part of the wiring of your brain. They actually imitate the emotional states of those in your immediate vicinity. That's how infants learn. That's how empathy functions. However, it turns into emotional pollution if you don't establish an energetic boundary. How do you take control of your mental condition and stop absorbing other people's chaos? First step: acknowledge the transfer. Stop as soon as your mood abruptly shifts after speaking with someone. Before I talk to them, did I feel this way? Otherwise, congrats, you just managed to catch the transfer. That's the first step. 80% of the fight is awareness. Step 2. Apply the mental armor technique. Use the mental phrase, "Their storm is not my weather," just before you walk into a place that feels heavy, such as job, family, or a toxic group chat. Straightforward and keen. Breaks through the static. This statement conveys to your subconscious that I can observe without taking in. I don't need to carry to care. Step 3. Remain in the mode of observation rather than absorption. You enter a room, there is a lack of energy. People are tense. Avoid matching it. Avoid attempting to fix it. Simply watch. Say it out loud, "I'm not becoming energy, I'm just watching it." This inhibits the automatic emotional download by anchoring your mind in witness mode. Step 4. Shake it off after making contact. Literally, like static on a sweater, your body retains energy. Therefore, shake your hands, stretch, or make a bodily movement when you end a conversation that didn't feel right. Step outside. Exhale forcefully as if you were letting go of all that garbage. You may even declare, "I release what's not mine." Your nerve system is reset as you move your body. In summary, your purpose is not to be a sponge. Being a lighthouse is why you are here. Everything clean or unclean is absorbed by sponges. Regardless of the storm, lighthouses remain in place. They are radiant. They provide direction. However, they are not pulled beneath. Stop taking in other people's chaos from now on. You see it. You remain clear. You continue to be strong. For there is no need for another weary empath in the world. It needs a sovereign. Why do you feel this way? Allow me to make a potentially profound statement. This degree of energy wasn't given to you only to get by. It was given to you to alter, move, and awaken people. It had to wake you up first, though. Strong-willed people frequently have traumatic pasts. They are present due of pressure, not because they are cursed. Trauma made you watch red rooms and anticipate danger before it materialized. It was survival, that alertness, that sensibility. But eventually it turned into a present for you. And now these days you can sense the undercurrent in places before anyone speaks. You can tell that the smile is a lie. The strain beneath the surface is visible, and it's not understood by most people. For example, Why are you so intense? They ask. Why don't you simply unwind? Why must you always delve so deeply? Because you are not here to look at things superficially. You're here to call people back to reality, reveal the hidden, and upend the fake. It's not a coincidence. Your design is that. This voyage was dubbed individuation by Carl Jung, integrating your shadow and confronting your unconscious to become who you really are. That's something you've done or are now doing. And the outcome, you are more than simply your energy. It's living, it's turned on. It transmits the frequency, I've been to the dark. Yours is not a threat to me. People either run or lean in because of this. Your presence forces them to make a decision. Either stay asleep or get up. Strong energy and miscommunication. The thing is this, people with strong energy are frequently misinterpreted since they weren't made to fit into dysfunctional systems. Your purpose is not to blend in. Breaking patterns in your community, family, and yourself is your goal. But pay close attention. It's not always simple, even if you're designed for it. You may have been ostracized by your strength. You may have lost friends because of your insight. Maybe you attracted people who drained you, feared your depth, or tried to manipulate your light. But that wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Because now you're not just intuitive, you know. You don't just feel, you see. You've moved beyond being simply empathetic. You've become strategic, aware, conscious. So stop asking, why am I different? You were never meant to be like everyone else. You were born to remember who you are and then help others remember too. That's the real purpose of your energy. It's not just personal power. It's a calling. And now that calling is speaking. Loudly. This is the final initiation. Let's make it real, make it lasting. If these words struck a chord deep within you, if something inside you recognized itself, then say it out loud in the comments. Mark your moment, declare it. My energy is mine. This isn't just a comment, it's a commitment, a boundary, a vow you make to the universe, to your past self, and to every version of you that ever played small. No more shrinking, no more apologizing. You are done hiding. If you're serious about owning your energy, mastering your mind, and stepping fully into your potential, subscribe and turn on notifications. This is just the beginning. And listen, don't keep this to yourself. If this spoke to you, share it. Pass it to someone you sense carries power they haven't yet claimed. Because awakening is contagious. When one person chooses to rise, others feel it. It's not an accident that you're intense. You're not too sensitive. You were built to impact. Let's shift the collective, one conscious presence at a time. And if you want to go deeper, join the free newsletter. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, protect your light, honor your path, own your energy,